Today's video is not some sort of list that's simply based on my opinions and feelings, but it is objectively the top 5 single season turnarounds in NBA history, based on the wins and loss column. My aim for this video is to not only educate you on who the 5 teams were, but explain the history and context of why these teams were able to make these turnarounds. So without further ado, let's get into it. Number 5, the 1979-1980 Boston Celtics, who improved by 32 wins over the previous season. First off, there's the most obvious acquisition, and that was a rookie, Larry Bird, who had simply one of the greatest rookie campaigns in the history of the game. Even during his debut season, Bird did a variety of things well, like scoring, passing, rebounding, defense, and shooting the long ball. He provided the leadership that Boston desperately needed, and helped them immediately become one of the best teams in the Eastern Conference. What they also did is they traded away Bob McAdoo for a future first-round pick, and this created enough cap space for the Celtics to pursue a free agent in the summer of 1979, which ended up being ML Carr. The signing of Carr provided the roster with a great defensive player, and he also ended up being a quality 6th man for that squad. They also hired a new head coach in Bill Fitch, and he was a stabilizing force for that group, and definitely more so than the previous season, as they had multiple head coaches in the 78-79 season. Number 4, the 2004-2005 Phoenix Suns, who improved by 33 wins. Most of you could probably guess their major acquisition, as they signed Steve Nash in the offseason after the Dallas Mavericks were unwilling to match Phoenix's offer. Nash was the perfect fit for the new head coach, Mike D'Antoni, and immediately, with his playmaking abilities and with Mike D'Antoni's emphasis on up-tempo offense, they established their 7-second offense, which made it a goal to get a shot attempt up within the first 7 seconds of the shot clock. But they did have some minor moves that supported Steve Nash. For example, they signed the shooting guard Quentin Richardson, who became the team's primary three-point shooter, which is obviously a major asset for a facilitator like Steve Nash. It's also worth pointing out that Amari Stoudemire was completely healthy this season and took a massive step forward in his progression, and was even a top 7 finalist for the Most Improved Player award. A large part of that was obviously from now having Nash as a pick-and-roll partner, but regardless, he was ready to take that big leap forward. Number 3, the 1989-1990 San Antonio Spurs, who improved by 35 wins. One of the greatest individual impacts that we've ever seen in the history of the game came from a rookie, David Robinson, who because of his military service was much older than the usual rookies. It was also the rookie season of the one they call the Ninja, Sean Elliott, who would end up becoming a quality slasher, finisher, and shooter for the Spurs. Also joining San Antonio was Terry Cummings, who was one of the most underrated power forwards in NBA history, and in his late 20s, he ended up being the team's second leading scorer behind only David Robinson. San Antonio also acquired Rod Strickland via trade in late February. So although he didn't have a ton of time to have a major impact, Strickland still used his quality playmaking abilities and his all-time great handles to help his team tremendously. This season also had stability and consistency within the roster, unlike the previous season, which was filled with plenty of trades, releases, and signings. And the year prior, they had 22 different players on the roster throughout the course of that season. So with that being said, no wonder why they had so many chemistry issues the year before. Number 2, the 1997-1998 San Antonio Spurs, who improved by 36 wins. Obviously, the major acquisition here was a rookie, Tim Duncan, who was immediately recognized as one of the best big men in the entire game. But it is worth mentioning that it was also the first full season of Greg Popovich as a head coach. Along with that, they also had a healthy David Robinson, unlike the previous season where he only played in 6 regular season games. In his 97-98 comeback season, Robinson averaged 22 points and 11 rebounds, while finishing 3rd overall in the Defensive Player of the Year voting. It was a minor addition, but they also acquired Jaren Jackson Sr., who was one of the key role players for that squad. There was also rumors at that time that the Spurs were tanking in the 1997 regular season after the Robinson injury, due to their desire for a better spot in the draft lottery, which obviously ended up being Tim Duncan. So with that being said, this turnaround makes a whole lot of sense for a lot more reasons than just the big fundamental. Number 1, the 2007-2008 Boston Celtics, who improved by 42 wins, which is easily the greatest improvement in NBA history. This was the perfect storm of circumstances for such a turnaround. For one, their superstar player Paul Pierce wasn't healthy the year prior, and in the 2007-2008 season, he played in 33 more games than the year prior. And obviously, they made major acquisitions, like the superstar three-point sniper Ray Allen, who was also one of the most clutch players that the game had to offer. And then, in a major blockbuster trade, they acquired Kevin Garnett from the Minnesota Timberwolves, giving them one of the best power forwards in the entire league and a perennial Defensive Player of the Year candidate. With one of the best perimeter sniping shooting guards, one of the top scoring small forwards, and one of the best two-way power forwards in the entire league, they immediately had a cohesive unit that all gelled together naturally. But then, don't forget their point guard, as Rajon Rondo took a massive leap forward in his sophomore season and finished 5th overall in the most improved player voting. Basically, at the point guard, shooting guard, small forward, and power forward position, they all had major upgrades from the year prior, which resulted in a year-to-year NBA record that will probably stand for many decades to come. One of the major takeaways of this list is that no team ever makes a giant turnaround without the acquisition of a major superstar player. And another observation is that as much as we want to give all of the credit to our superstar players, a lot of times there's a lot of different things at play, from the coaching to the supporting cast to the general manager's decisions. As always, it takes a team to get it done. So what do you guys think? Does this kind of information make you feel better or worse about your team's chances heading into this season? I look forward to hearing your thoughts in the comment section below. Thanks for watching as always, make sure to like and subscribe for more basketball content, and I'll see you guys in the next video.